Graystone whispers promises of a quiet life, but swallows dreams whole. Elara, surrounded by generations trapped in its gray embrace, yearns for more. What happens when a single spark of courage ignites against a backdrop of regret? Witness Elara's defiant journey to break free and discover how one act of rebellion can rewrite an entire destiny. Elara wiped down the counter of the small café, the scent of stale coffee mixing with Graystone's constant discontent. Every day brought the same faces. Dreams faded like the peeling paint on the old buildings. Hope felt like a distant memory in this town. Growing up, Elara heard stories from her mother and grandmother, tales of dreams deferred. "We wanted to go far once," her mother would say, eyes clouded with sadness. "But what can you do? This is Graystone." The phrase, "This is Graystone," echoed through generations, wrapping itself around every conversation like an unbreakable chain. Elara's heart ached as she listened, seeing the cycle of hope crushed by fear. She didn't want to end up like the tired faces at her café, staring out the window, wishing for something more but never stepping beyond those worn streets. Each night, after long shifts, Elara would count her tips and tuck each coin and bill away in an old shoebox hidden beneath her bed. It was a small rebellion against the echoes of Graystone's despair. A secret nest egg she hoped would buy more than just comfort. One evening, her mother, "I wish I'd been brave like your aunt. She left here and never looked back." Those words struck Elara deeply. That wish, filled with longing and regret, was the true inheritance she wanted to refuse. She didn't want to look back one day and wonder why she never tried. The next morning dawned gray and cool, the familiar fog hanging low over the town. Elara walked to the bus station, the shoebox tucked beneath her arm. She bought a one-way ticket to a city she'd never seen in person, only through the glossy pages of magazines and stories whispered on the internet. Fear battled excitement in her chest as the bus hissed to a stop. For a fleeting moment, the voices of doubt, the fears of failure and loneliness whispered loudly, tempting her to turn back. But Elara breathed deeply, feeling a spark of something new kindling inside her. Courage. With steady steps, she climbed aboard, the bus's engine rumbling beneath her feet as it pulled away from the familiar streets of Graystone. She didn't have a detailed plan, only a purpose, a determination to break free from the cycle of regrets and what-ifs. Elara knew the road ahead would be uncertain, but she also knew that staying meant a slow surrender to a life half-lived. As the town grew smaller behind her, Elara's heart swelled with quiet hope. She was no longer just a girl from Graystone. She was a woman forging her own path, brave enough to chase her dreams and wise enough to refuse the weight of regret. In breaking the cycle, Elara had found the true freedom of living on her own terms. And that was just the beginning. Elara arrives in the city, overwhelmed by the skyscrapers and the hustle. She finds a small, affordable room in a boarding house, promising herself to make the most of it. Elara starts looking for a job, facing rejections but staying persistent. She eventually finds a job at a local bookstore, surrounded by stories and new possibilities. Elara begins to take evening classes, pursuing her dream of becoming a writer. She makes new friends who support her dreams, creating a new community far from Graystone. Years later, Elara publishes her first book, inspired by her journey and the strength she found within herself. Elara returns to Graystone, not as a girl with regrets, but as a woman who broke the cycle, inspiring others to chase their own dreams.